Hello again, this is Shane with Cubicle Refugee, here with our first in a series of walkthroughs for the shrines in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, is this really a tutorial for the ones on Tutorial Plateau, Great Plateau? Yes, gotta start somewhere, and that includes my editing skills. So, if you'll notice that treasure chest out front, that is actually something that appears if you have pre-ordered the season pass for the Breath of the Wild downloadable content. That one right there contains a ruby, and there is another that contains a piece of armor that I will be showing in another video. Right now, we are taking a look at the Oman Au Shrine, located directly to the north by northwest of the tower. Very easy to get to. It is obviously the one that the developers and designers intended you to go towards first. I will let you get there, because part of the fun of this game is the getting there. That said, these are the shrines that take place on the tutorial plateau, so they're all very simple, and they introduce new ideas to the to the player, the core mechanics. So, to you who sets foot in this shrine, I am Oman Au. In the name of the goddess Hylia, I present you this trial. Magnesis. So, immediately we've got the guidance stone over on the left that draws our attention. And so we plug in the Sheikah Slate, the magical iPad. It gets authenticated and distilled, and we get a new power. 3 guesses as to what it's called. Da-da-da-da. You guessed Magnesis. You are correct. This is a power not unlike a spell in other games that allows you to manipulate metal objects in the environment. Get a nice little prompt showing us which button to press. But right now, we're more interested in the rest of the room. We've got a gate that we clearly can't go through, and 2 giant metal slabs on the ground. So let's try moving one of them. There we go. We can now proceed into the hole that was created. But real quick, let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of the underlying mechanics here. So we can freely manipulate the object in a certain sense, but we cannot use the magnesis power while standing on it. So no metal door surfing, at least in the first patch. But we can still use magnesis on another object while standing on a object that can be manipulated by magnesis. Once you've gone through that little tunnel, you'll come up to these steps and you'll see a metal block in the middle of a wall of stone blocks. And if you look around, there was another metal block off in the corner. We're going to go ahead and grab that just for fun. It's actually not super necessary to the puzzle of this shrine. Call it puzzle. And you'll notice that as it scrapes across the stone floor, it does spark. A lot of things in this game are very physics-based, including the reaction of metal on stone. It's one of the ways that you can actually start a fire using wood that you pick up by chopping down local trees. More on that later. But this gives us an opportunity to kind of play with the physics at play here, and you can totally use objects that you are holding with magnesis to knock over and interact with other objects. They're not in a void unto themselves. You can see here in a second that it even has some level of combat application, because I can totally hit this thing with the metal block to do some direct damage, as well as position the block in front of it to absorb the beam attack that it tried to shoot. And I can even just directly push it off the cliff by waiting until it's lined up, and then pushing the metal object by pressing up on the direction pad, the left side of the So with that little demonstration out of the way, we're back to the core puzzle of the shrine, which is acquainting yourself with the mechanics of it. So we've moved one of these slab doors before, So now, instead of moving it out of our way, we're using it to get where we want to go. An important thing to note here is that there is always at least one treasure chest in every shrine. Always. Always, always, always at least one. Sometimes they're part of the parts of the puzzle. In order to complete it, you need to interact with the treasure chest, like to get a key. In this case, it's just an extra little bit of loot, in this case, a traveler's bow. I'm not 100% sure whether or not loot is randomized, except in certain instances where, like, outfit pieces are given. But this one, for me, is a traveler's bow. If anybody knows for sure, just go ahead and leave me a note in the comments. I'd love to see it. The last little bit of the puzzle here is the giant metal doors. You can't push them or pull them up because they're on hinges, but you can move them the way that they're supposed to open. With that taken care of, we now have the first shrine in the game completed, one of the only 4 that are technically mandatory in order to complete the game. And I'll admit it might seem a little bit too easy of a challenge. Probably didn't really deserve its own video, but I remember being 8 or whatever, playing Ocarina of Time for the first time, and there were moments in even just the Great Deku Tree when I was confused and I needed help. So hopefully at least some of you out there who are watching this video are able to continue to enjoy the game a little less frustrated now because you figured out what it is you're supposed to do with the little piece of the puzzle you were missing. And even those who are kind of just watching for fun, I hope you learned something. I hope you saw some neat combat applications of Magnesis. And tidbit there about the treasure chest in every shrine. This unfortunate looking soul here is giving us the actual reward from every shrine, called a spirit orb. These fulfill the same function as the pieces of heart from previous Zelda games, but because this one now also includes a stamina meter as well as a health meter, you can spend the spirit orbs on one or the other. Though there is a point where you do need a base amount of maximum hearts in order to get a very, very important item later on in the game. No spoilers, but stamina does help with your exploration, and this is a game that's all about that. So, either way, that wraps up the Shrine of Oman Au. The other 3 Great Plateau shrines will have their own videos here shortly. I hope you all had as much fun watching as I had making this video. See you next time.